Express costs $600 today.
Let's see if it's worth it.
Hey there, Man Fam. We are here at Universal Epic Universe to put Express Pass to the test.
Express Pass is Universal's version of a skip-the-line service, and it's quite pricey. But with several attractions already having multi-hour long waits, we are here to put it to the test and see how much time you really save. Now, before we get to the rides, let's do a little Express Pass 101. Like I said, this is Universal's version of a skip-the-line service, but it's very straightforward and very easy to use. Basically, you pay for it, you show up to the rides whenever you want, and if they take Express, you get to go through the expedited Express Pass queue. To purchase Express for Epic Universe, you're going to buy an Epic Universe specific Express Pass, which runs anywhere from $150 per person to $330 per person, depending on the time of year you come. Today, Express Pass was $280 per person, plus tax, making it just under $600 for the two of us to have Express. Now, Epic Universe Express is not unlimited, which is an option at the other two parks where you can ride each attraction multiple times. Currently only available is Standard Express, meaning you can access the Express queue at the 10 participating attractions once per day. And again, there's no time slots, no booking anything. You just show up whenever you'd like to enjoy those attractions. The attractions that Express works on here: Constellation Carousel, Curse of the Werewolf, Fire Drill, Hiccups Wing Gliders, Les Circar Canoe, Mario Kart Bowser's Challenge, Monsters Unchained, The Frankenstein Experiment, Stardust Racers, The Untrainable Dragon, and Yoshi's Adventure, which notably means that Minecart Madness and Donkey Kong Country and Harry Potter and the Battle at the Ministry in the Wizarding World of Harry Potter are not included with Express. Neither is Dragon Racers Rally, which Alan would tell you is very important, but it's more notable for most people that the other two are not included. Additionally, unlike the other two parks, there is no way to get Express Pass for Epic by staying at any of the Universal hotels. It is not included with the signature hotels over by the older two parks. It is not included with Helios. The only way to have Express Pass in this park right now is to purchase it. And I do want to note, you can purchase it through Orlando Informer. They are an authorized reseller of discounted tickets, and while they don't currently have discounts on Epic Express, there are times where it is sold out on the Universal website, but still available on Orlando Informer, so I always recommend checking them out. They're wonderful people. Big thank you to them for making sure we got Express Pass today. All right, I think that is enough yapping. We need to get to a ride.
As we make our way towards our first ride, we're headed towards Burke here, folks. Let's do a wait time check. We've got 10 minutes at Constellation Carousel, although I'm not surprised by that. 75 at Fire Drill, 40 at Stardust Racers, 60 minutes at Yoshi's Adventure, 55 at Hiccup Wing Gliders, 120 at Mario Kart Bowser's Challenge, 115 at Minecart Madness, Curse of the Werewolf at 60 minutes, 150 minutes at Harry Potter and Battle of the Ministry, and a 40-minute wait at Monsters Unchained, The Frankenstein Experiment. And it is just after 11 a.m. now, so the park has been open to all guests for an hour, early entry for 2 hours, so if you want to see how to best maximize that, check out Molly's video on rope dropping. But you can see how these wait times escalate very quickly.
Literally, walking into Burke never gets less amazing. The detail and the huge vastness and scale of this world is unbelievable. And we're gonna start the day off with a banger, and that's Hiccups Wing Gliders, which is a very fun, family-friendly coaster with a 40-inch height requirement. And I equate it to a little bit less intense than Hagrid's Magical Creatures Motorbike Adventure TM, but more intense than like a Slinky Dog Dash. And it is an adorable coaster with animatronics on it. And basically you are headed to check out Hiccups' workshop, where he is making a dragon flying machine so that you can see what it's like to fly on the back of a dragon. But before he can add the wings, Toothless, being the lovable scamp that he is, sends the gliders off on the track, and well, you know, then it becomes more falling than flying. Currently, this has a 55-minute posted wait, and that's pretty average for Hiccups Wing Gliders. It usually has a relatively long wait, though not usually the longest in the park. But with all of these attractions we do today, we are going to compare how long we wait in Express versus how long the posted wait is. Typically, that Universal says that your wait in Express should be half or less of the posted wait time, so we're going to see where it all shakes out and how much time we save cumulatively at the end. And I will say, one thing I love about this Express queue is you get to see all the fun stuff in the queue, which is right here in Hiccups' workshop. You get to see all the detail in here, and then go to Express. You're not missing a bunch like you might in other queues by going through Express here. And this is a hot, primarily outdoor queue, and it is real feel 103 today, so I can't say I'm sad about bypassing this.
right, well, that attraction just rules. With a Z, rules with a Z, which is an important specificity for this. Low-key sleeper hit of this park, and we had some new ride audio that time. First time I've ever heard Hiccup say some of those lines of specifically about getting, I'm going to quote here, slimed in the face, which is something I didn't know that Universal was doing anymore. But we rated about 12 minutes for that ride, so a nice bit of time saving there between the 55 posted wait. And now we're headed out to find our new heading. Well, from Hiccups Wing Gliders, we are headed right across the way to Fire Drill. This attraction will get you absolutely soaked. It is run by Rough Nut and Tough Nut, as they are teaching us Vikings in training how to put out fires that inevitably happen when you've got dragons all around your village, and most of your construction here is made of wood. This attraction doesn't have a specific height requirement, but children who are under 48 inches must be accompanied by a companion, and handheld infants are not permitted. Currently in the app, this has a 60-minute wait, and we are going to queue up to see how quickly we get soaked.
I forgot a rain jacket, so.
Suited up, ready, patented water ride, impromptu water ride attraction.
I don't have a hat. I forgot my rain jacket.
Yeah, it's tough. Yep. Ready. Look at all the happy people getting absolutely obliterated by water. Soon that will be us. All right, Malls, do you want to be Team Rough Nut or Tough Nut?
Rough Nut, because Rough Nut has restrogen.
That's factually correct. I also want to acknowledge that this queue is mostly outside, so you're not going to be skipping a ton. There's not a ton to skip. For the Express Pass queue, if anything, you're just going to be missing more of the really fun and exciting signs that Rough Nut and Tough Nut had hand-painted for you.
The thing about the poncho is it goes longer than a rain jacket, which I think is very helpful.
It is. It helps cover the rump, the posterior, the caboose.
Note that you can get a poncho for a lot less money off Amazon or something and bring it in, but we were way drier than our friend Tyler, who's here, who did not wear a poncho. Also want to know there are watertight compartments on the boat itself that we put our cameras in, but as a pro tip, you can ask kindly for a merchandise bag, and you can put something of value in there or bring a Ziploc or something, so we put our camera in a merchandise bag just to double check it'd be okay.
Yep.
And we only waited, what, 5 minutes?
Just under 6 minutes.
6 minutes, posted 60-minute wait.
Yep.
So if I'm a water ride, I don't want to wait for it.
That's the way to do it, yeah.
And I do have to admit, as a certified water ride hater, I do think this ride is very fun. I would certainly not wait an hour for it, but it's a fun take on a water ride, and it helps that we won. So we were on Tough Nut's team, but winning is the most important.
Yeah, Tough Nut, T for testosterone.
T for testosterone. That's how you can tell them apart.
Yep.
Next up, we are headed to see the Untrainable Dragon, which is the show here in Isle of Berk, because the 2 stage shows in Epic are included as part of Express. I just spoke with the lovely team members here, and the way it works is Express actually gets to go into the theater 15 minutes early, so you probably want to be here 20, 30 minutes before showtime to take advantage of that reserved seating with Express. If you're not using Express, they are saying to be here about 20 minutes before showtime to guarantee you have a seat. So really, the perk of Express here isn't saving time, it's getting a better seat for the show. The Untrainable Dragon is about a 20 or so minute stage show that takes you into the hatchery where the dragons are born, but there is one dragon that's a little cranky. And of course, it's up to Hiccup and Asher to figure out what's going on with this untrainable dragon.
Turns out that show is pretty good.
The puppeteering's amazing. The performers are wonderful. That is I think people don't consider Universal a show park.
And you should.
And you should, because I've seen lots of theme park shows, and that is one of the best in-park, like not nighttime spectacular shows. Objectively, it might be the best one I've ever seen, domestically at least.
Yeah. So the perk for Express Pass here is you get better seating. You're not really going to save any time, but also you can get pretty good seating in standard standby as well. Just note, they do close the doors 5 minutes before the show begins, so you want to get here early.
For me, I like the shows here because they're good breaks from the heat. It's 25 minutes in air conditioning. It's also a good thing to plan on if it starts raining.
Yep.
But if it does start raining, these shows are going to fill up faster, which is why the team members are saying to get here 20 minutes early, express or not, you should get here early.
We have left the world of dragons and headed into the Mushroom Kingdom, where there are 2 attractions for us to ride. And I, for one, can't wait to hitch a ride on a Yoshi. But before we go on an adventure with Yoshi, we are going to challenge Bowser on Mario Kart Bowser's Challenge. This ride has a 40-inch height requirement and is an augmented reality shooter-style kart riding attraction. This is where you team up with Mario and friends to try to beat Bowser and his cohorts, lackeys, by driving and riding on classic tracks from the game like Rainbow Road, collecting coins, and shooting shells at your enemies. It currently has a 110-minute wait. It's a very popular attraction, so we're gonna hop in Express and see how long it takes us there. This attraction also has single rider, but note if you do take that line, you're gonna be missing the entirety of the queue as well as the pre-show. So if you have a hankering to read the book titles that are in Bowser's library, just know that ahead of time.
Refreshing drinks! Alan,
Yes.
do an impression of a Nintendo character or a Mario character.
Mario Kart? Let's go!
Is that Luigi?
Yeah,
That was pretty good.
thank you.
Let's go!
You did!
By one. I got 106. Alan and our friend Tyler got 105. So
Yep.
I am the best at video games. It's because I'm a gamer.
And that attraction is a great ride. It's a lot of fun. I think it's the best shooter style attraction that's currently in existence. AR, practical sets, just stellar.
Also, it took about 24 minutes in Express, which is pretty dang good considering it almost has a 2-hour line right now, and it's not a very slow-moving queue regardless. And in Express, you don't miss that much. You can't see some of the things as close, like Bowser's big chair and his creepy portrait of Peach, but you still get to go through his laboratory and see all the fun
His
stuff.
library.
I love the book titles. I love it.
But you know what? Now
What?
it's time to go on an adventure.
I hope for a pink one so desperately. Update, the Yoshis don't want to go on an adventure with us right now. It's delayed, and you can just see that pink one taunting me. But we're gonna head out of Super Nintendo World. The other attraction here, Donkey Kong Country, does not have Express, as I mentioned earlier. It does have single rider, but it moves very slow, and there's a current 120-minute posted wait right now. So we may try to do single rider there later to time it, but honestly, probably not gonna do that unless it drops to under an hour posted wait. So we'll be back in this world to go on Yoshi's Adventure, hopefully later. We find ourselves now on the streets of Paris in the wizarding world of Harry Potter, Ministry of Magic, where we're gonna go see Le Cirque Arcanu, which is the show here where you are headed to see Ringmaster Skender's circus, as seen in the second Fantastic Beasts movie. He's not a great guy. He may or may not have stolen a certain Hufflepuff's magical case full of magical creatures, and you might or might not see them at the circus. Speaking to the team members, this is very similar to Untrainable Dragon, where they're gonna tell you to get in line at least 30 minutes early if you don't have Express. She said I could roll the dice and show up 20 minutes early with Express, but there's still a chance it could fill up because they don't have as large of capacity. But much like Untrainable Dragon, the perk here with Express isn't skipping the line or the wait, it's that you get in first and therefore get a better seat. as mentioned earlier, Battle at the Ministry, the ride here in Wizarding World of Harry Potter, is not on Express Pass. It's the most popular ride in the park, currently sitting at 150 minutes. They do offer single rider there. However, speaking with some team members, it can close to capacity, like it's actually closed right now to capacity. It also may move somewhat quicker than the standby queue. 150-minute wait right now. We ran into some Mayhem fan members who said they waited about an hour and a half. So, you know, saved themselves an hour in the single rider queue, but the team members also told us it could take as long as the standby queue because single rider is just filling in empty seats, and that's not a reliable kind of way to wait, especially with how slow that ride loads and unloads. Additionally, with Battle at the Ministry, they have been closing to capacity before the end of the night. So that tried and true theory of, oh, just jump into a line at the end of the night, and if you end up waiting 2 hours, it's after the park closes. That ride has been closing to capacity for the whole night, usually about 2 hours before the park even closes. So there's a couple ways to try and get on it. You could try and rope drop it as a resort guest. It does not open early for early park admission, which is a universal resort guest perk. So you'd just be standing outside the portal for that whole hour. You can also keep track of it in the app. I've seen it drop as low as 120 today, which is pretty low for that attraction. Unfortunately, I don't have a better way to get you on that ride. I personally wouldn't rope drop it just in case it doesn't open on time and then you've wasted your whole early park admission standing there for nothing when you could have used that to ride Donkey Kong, which I did in the rope drop video, or getting in line to meet Toothless or knocking out some other attractions. I would keep an eye on it, and I've noticed that usually mid-morning-ish, around noon, it dips. So that's when I would go personally.
You want to give it a touch? Yeah, trust me. Okay. It does have a big temper. Okay. It does.
Okay. What if I pet the spine?
Oh, I think that's what he says you're supposed to do.
I trust you.
I think it's just really
Okay, Serafina, yes.
I'm a mule. Yeah.
Right. It's all right.
I'm more of a snack.
Yes, as you said, you can press it by rubbing on its spine here. Yes. Right.
That thing almost got my finger clean off.
Okay.
Does it have a name?
Well, yes, the Monster Book of Monsters.
Yeah, I know, but you should name this one. That'd be like calling every Niffler.
Well, this isn't an
Well, it's not mine.
Whose is it?
It's handed out as part of our Care Magical Creatures class at Hogwarts.
You could name
So
it
it's-
like Larry, though, or something.
Well, I'm not too good at naming things, but Serafina's good at naming
Yeah,
things.
name him.
Oh, I love to name things after my favorite treats, like Crozan. No, that doesn't fit. Whizbees. They do have. They have a little
Name
bit
him
of a
Whizbee.
bite. We need something with a bite to it. You know.
Like an exploding bonbon or something.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Exploding bonbon.
Name him Exploding Bonbon.
Tell me if you see the Zawu.
I will let you
We'll
know.
look for that at the
let me know.
circus.
Cat.
I'll let you
It's on the posters.
Oh, really?
He looks like a little kitty cat.
The book or the...
The Zawu looks
the
like a
Zawu?
kitty cat.
Both.
We're gonna
But-
put this away.
Yes, just
'cause
put
it
this
is-
one away.
It is
Okay,
ready to
yes,
take a chomp out
Yeah,
of me.
okay, goodbye, Exploding Bonbon.
Okay.
Take a nice nap, Bonbon.
It's all right.
Ran into some of the roaming locals here on the streets of Paris before heading inside to see the show, which was a lot of fun. Again, I just think that the effects that are used here, the puppetry, all very, very impressive, and the performers incredibly talented. I also want to say, in my opinion, it is a much better use of the Express here than at the Untrainable Dragon, because the queue situation at Le Cirque Arcanu that's quite long, and you'll be let in earlier to the show and get a better seat.
Next up, we're going to do Stardust Racers, which is definitely the biggest thrill ride in the park and certainly one of the most popular for that very reason. Initially, when we were planning out our day, we thought about saving this till nighttime because it's absolutely incredible at night, but there have been some thunderstorms possibly coming in tonight. It's Florida in the summer, so we're going to do it now while it's still open, just in case. But Tyler is going to wait until later to try and do it then, so you can watch his video to see how that turns out. Now, again, the reason I say that that's important is as a reminder that the Express here is not unlimited. You can only ride each attraction once. So on something like Stardust Racers, you're going to have to decide, one, if you want to ride it during the day or at night, and two, which side of the track you want to go on, green or yellow, because this is a dueling coaster, and each track is a little bit different from one another, and everybody has formed their opinions on which one they enjoy more. Stardust Racers has a 48-inch height requirement, and it reaches top speeds of up to 62 miles an hour, and it's designed to feel like you are riding and racing a comet through space. which is an old hobby of the Celestians that live in Celestial Park, which is, again, why it's so cool at night, because they don't light the track, they only light the cars, and you get this incredible view of the park. This attraction is known for its signature move, which you can kind of see up at the tippy top there, called the Celestial Spin, where the two cars spin around each other so close that it almost feels like you could touch the other vehicle. And once the ride gets going, there are no brake zones the entire time. It is truly a ton of fun. It's incredibly popular. As I was saying, it right now has a 90-minute queue, so we'll see how long it takes in Express. Note it does have single rider as well. However, it may not always be open for a variety of reasons, including they can fill the single rider line. Now, we are going to do a timer just like on the other rides, but also know this is the only queue that has metal detectors similar to Velocicoaster or Hulk, meaning we can't keep carrying our phones and put them in our pockets once we get through the locker part. So also made a note of what time I got in this queue, and then before I load, going to ask a team member or someone what time it is to figure out how long this takes. All right, that coaster does in fact rule. Now, it was, again, a posted 90-minute wait, and it did take a little bit longer because they are running right now at limited capacity, meaning they're only running one train on each track as opposed to multiple trains on each track. So it was a little bit longer, being about 36 minutes in Express, which is still obviously much, much better than 90 minutes. But if they were running at a fuller capacity, both the standby queue line and Express would be even faster. Just as a reminder, pack your patient pants for anything in a theme park, but because of the way this attraction works, because they launched the two tracks at the same time, it takes a little bit longer to get everyone seated and ready to go, because you're not just waiting for one vehicle and everybody's lap bars to be down and ready, you're waiting for two. But a really awesome coaster. Big fan of that one. Can be finicky as far as downtimes and definitely finicky with the weather, but absolutely worth a ride. And just know at night, this is very, very popular, so it's likely that your wait will go up both in regular queue and also Express. We find ourselves now in the sleepy, spooky village of Darkmoor as we have crossed the threshold into the Dark Universe portal. There are two rides here, both take Express, so we are going to head deep into Dr. Victoria's catacombs to head on to Monsters Unchained, the Frankenstein experiment first. This is I don't even know what to describe this ride as. It's the same ride vehicle as Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey, but far less nauseating. It has a 48-inch height requirement, and the story is that you are headed into the beautiful Frankenstein Manor, where Dr. Victoria Frankenstein, Dr. Henry Frankenstein's great-great-granddaughter, is trying to prove that she can tame the monsters. And she's inviting you to check out her experiment and show you how she's tamed the baddest baddie of them all, Dracula and his grippers. But you know what, Dr. V, she and I have talked, and she said nothing's going to go wrong this time, so we probably don't need to worry about anything. Currently, this has a 45-minute wait, which is actually kind of long for this attraction. This attraction is incredibly efficient, and normally you can find it at 30 or less, so if you don't have Express, I would recommend waiting till it's 30 minutes or less. It has single rider as well, but you skip like everything. You skip the pre-shows and etc., so I would not recommend single rider here, whereas in Express, you do skip some of the exterior part of the queue. You skip going in through the study, which does have some fun Easter eggs, and you skip a little bit throughout, but you do still get to see both pre-shows. You get to walk, obviously, through the manor as we are right now. However, if you're a Monsters fan, this queue is so good, I do recommend walking through the full thing, which is easy to do because it doesn't get too long of waits. I partly think it has a 45-minute wait right now because some of the rides had to close for weather a few minutes ago, and those have just reopened. So, of course, when the outdoor rides close for weather, the indoor ride lines get longer.
Look closely. This is a Catacombs Navigation Unit. All you little lab rats and your little lab rat friends get to ride one. You sit, Igor steers, nothing goes wrong.
We will finish what my great-grandfather started. Show them.
What's that?
Lower the lights. These people are friends.
Silence, creature. I will destroy you and everything.
These two just don't get along.
That ride bangs. I say it every time. That is my favorite ride. It is so good, and it took less than 8 minutes to get on the ride vehicle, which means we made it through both pre-shows and putting all our stuff in lockers.
And I mean, look, listen, we don't talk about it a lot, but we do carry cameras and other equipment, so like, we have to put a lot of stuff away. So if you're not doing that, you're shaving off even more time.
You're going faster, you're not taking B-roll through the queue, you're walking a lot faster, but that ride's amazing. I love that it doesn't normally have a long line, so that everyone can experience it that wants to, and it's
a blast.
It's the absolute best. And I would encourage you, if you love Easter eggs and details and you love this story, even if you're using Express, go through the regular queue if it's not too long, because there are some cool things you miss, like Frank in a Tank.
Frank in a Tank is awesome.
Alan, quick,
Yes.
your best Igor impression.
The doctor will see you now. This is fun, yes?
Molly.
Yes.
Do your best Frankenstein impression.
No, Dr. Dracula, no! It's not great, it's not great.
Directly across from Frankenstein Manor, you have the forest that is filled with the Guild of the Mystics. And one, Maleva has identified you as having the mark of the werewolf. But I'm sure we're gonna be fine as we take a nice little casual run through this forest. Yeah. This attraction has a 40-inch height requirement and is a lot more thrilling than it looks, mainly because you do spin about quite a bit. And that can change every ride depending on the weight distribution of all the guests who are in your ride vehicle. I've had it be quite whippy before, and then other times I've had it be quite stable. It currently has a posted 60-minute wait, and this queue can get quite long because it has a pretty slow load and unload time. I should also note that this attraction does have a single rider line, although when it's packed, it might not be open.
"60-minute queue, we waited 7 minutes and 40 seconds, which is awesome. I personally wouldn't want to wait more than 30, maybe 40 minutes for it, especially because it's an outdoor queue and it's summertime in Orlando. But I always have a good time when I ride it. I'm laughing the whole time, and I love that it was quite a difference with Express Pass.
All right, well, we came back to ride Yoshi's Adventure, and now Florida has second thoughts. It's starting to lightning in the vicinity, and the outdoor attractions are on a weather delay.
Which means my pink Yoshi must wait a little longer, baby pink, I don't know, by a Temtep pink. So I guess we're headed to the carousel.
Yes, we are. And here she is, Constellation Carousel. This is, as the name would suggest, a carousel, but it is not just any carousel. Outside of the main turntable that you have, there are also 3 other independently rotating turntables within that, and all of the different ride vehicles can spin as well. So every ride is a very unique spin on this carousel. The only restrictions for this ride are if there is a child under 48 inches, they must be accompanied by an adult. And handheld infants are not permitted. One of my favorite fun facts about this attraction is that if you look at the stars on the side of all of the ride vehicles, they all make up the constellations in the sky that represent those animals. And while this isn't a fun fact in particular, I find myself often hypnotized by the inner spinning mechanism in the ceiling. It's just so mesmerizing.
Constellation Carousel, posted wait 25 minutes, took us about 10 minutes to be walking in and picking our animals. I will say we were on the next available one, so it moved as quickly as it could. This is just a very slow load and unload attraction. Make sure you pack your patient pants with the team members. It's just hard to check each one individually and etc. But a lovely attraction. I would say if you're gonna ride this, ride it at night, and that's when I think your Express Pass would be even more valuable, because a lot of people wanna do that. We just rode it now because, well, frankly, we have nothing else to ride until the weather moves on.
All right, that was a great day. Don't have a lot of park time left, and unfortunately, there is still a weather delay, so all of the attractions that are outdoor are currently down, and it doesn't really look like it's going anywhere.
The radar doesn't look hopeful,
Yeah.
Which means, unfortunately, I don't think I get to try for my pink Yoshi today. But as Alan said, we had a great day. We got to check off everything else off of our list, and We did it very leisurely. It was a very relaxing day. We walked around, we met up with a friend, we had lunch, and then also got to ride almost everything in the park without scheduling anything and just showing up and waiting a fraction of the posted wait time.
A very small fraction in most cases. In fact, let's look at the numbers.
In total, our posted waits today were just about 7.5 hours, but we waited less than 2. And so that's pretty amazing. Obviously, Express is very, very expensive, and it adds up the more people that are in your party.
It does.
But if you only have one day at Epic, clearly that still leaves plenty of time to worry about things like Harry Potter and the Battle at the Ministry, meet Toothless, get some food, see some characters. Minecart usually drops below an hour at some point, usually later in the day. Ministry, several times throughout the day today, was at 120 minutes, which is very low for that ride. Unfortunately, Toothless is long all day long, so you either gotta
just popular dragon.
Go in the morning and rope drop him, or wait till later in the night, but they will close the queue. But the park right now is open for 11 hours. So you'd have plenty of time to do all those things, plus eat lunch, plus enjoy the fountain show, plus snacks and whatever else, meet characters, whatever else you want to do, especially if you're using that Express to knock out, again, almost every ride in the park in an hour and a half.
It's nuts. Whenever you look at the math like that, it's just you're saving so much time. And yeah, Express is expensive.
Very.
But how much are you valuing the time versus wanting to spend it in lines?
I think if you've got more than one day in Epic, you could split things up and you could make sure to rope drop, take advantage of that early park admission. There are single rider options at some of the queues, even though they may not be as fast as you're used to at other rides. There are ways to do this park without Express, but
certainly,
hopefully this was helpful for those of you asking if you should purchase it, to show you what the product's like, how it works, what you can kind of expect with the wait times, and how much time you'll save in line.
And up next, we are going to be doing a VIP group tour, so you can see what that experience is like and what you can accomplish.
Yes, that you can skip the line at Battle at the Ministry, so excited to see how much time that saves us compared to Express. So look forward to that video. Definitely let us know what other Epic Universe content you want to see in the future. Check out our old content, which includes portal guides, a foodie guide, ranking all the rides, and more. The opening of Epic, where we got to talk to the creative team that made it.
That's a pretty cool one.
That's an awesome one.
Yeah.
Really, really proud of that video. But until next time, friends, make sure to rate. Wait, this is your part.
Yeah, it is.
You do this.
I'll do it.
Okay.
You want me to do it?
Yeah,
Okay.
you got it.
But until next time, friends, please be sure to like this video, subscribe if you are new, follow us on all of our socials, and come join us on Discord. We'd love to have you there. Links for all that down below.
Make sure to check out the Mammoth Club Patreon for behind-the-scenes content and more. And until next time, friends, I'm Molly.
And I'm Alan.
And it has been expressly wonderful.
Expressly wonderful, huh?
I normally say epic, but I think I'm tiring that one, so I was trying to do something.
And we went with expressly wonderful.
Express-tastic.